Hey people of YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Josh here. So we are out in the apiary on this beautiful March day. Spring is upon us. It's, I don't know, we're into the second week of March, I believe. So what I'm focused on right now is getting through these hives for initial inspection. So there's quite a few of them that I haven't checked yet. So I need to go ahead and open them up. I want to see how they're doing. I want to see if they are queen right. I want to see if that queen is laying, which I suspect every single one of these are. I've seen pollen coming into every single hive, which tells you that they are rearing brood. So, but you need to look at the combs. You need to assess the frames to see how the bees are doing. So I also want to check food stores. I want to see if any of these colonies are close to needing more food. Are they, God forbid, close to starvation? You know, March and April is peak starvation time for honeybee colonies. So you need to very closely monitor weight and food stores during this time of year, especially in my area, right? Because in Kentucky, yes, spring is coming on. However, we still have these cold snaps in March and April where we can get down into the 30s and the 20s. We get really crappy weather, maybe a lot of rainy days, and that can really set your bees back in terms of being forced to stay in the hive. And if they're forced to stay in there, they are going to burn through their food reserves. So I need to get inside of each one of these colonies and make an assessment on, you know, are they queen right? How do they look? Do they have adequate food stores? Do I need to supply, you know, some one-to-one syrup feed, which this time of year, you want to supply one-to-one because that is going to promote brood rearing from the queen. It's going to promote all of that. She's going to gear up. She's already gearing up, but it's going to stimulate that, right? Here's a very important point, though. If you start to feed syrup, you cannot stop until the flow begins, because you will risk that colony starving out. Because if you feed and then you stop, that brood kicked up, you've got all these bees that are emerging, and then they're going to blow through that food store and they're not going to have anything to eat, and you're going to have dead bees. So none of us want that. So let's go ahead and get inside maybe 2 or 3 of these. I don't know how much daylight I have left. It's about, 5 in the afternoon here, 5 in the evening. So we're going to go ahead and get inside maybe 2 or 3 of these colonies, and we're going to see how they are. So let's go. Okay, colony number 1. This colony is looking pretty good, at least from the entrance. So let's see what we got here. Again, I still have all the quilt boxes on, the Vivaldi boards, because, last night it got down into the 20s. So we're not out of the woods yet by any stretch of the imagination. But I have a feeling, no moisture there. I have a feeling this colony is brooding up quite nicely. Oh yeah, they've devoured all of the Hive Alive fondant, so that's completely gone. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little smoke here underneath and in the entrance. One beekeeper told me it was like knocking on the front door instead of barging in. Lets the bees know, hey, I'm here. But yeah, we've got this entire Hive Alive patty is completely emptied. So that's awesome. I mean, that's what you want to see. And you can see they're already combing up right here. And that little bit of space that this Vivaldi board gives them. So I suspect this queen is doing quite well. Probably going to be a lot of bees underneath this. I'm going to give them a little bit of smoke under the cover here. Yep, we got a pretty good population there. So I'm scanning for the queen. I don't see any, this is all, I would call it brace comb. So I don't see the queen anywhere here. Should be a red dot queen in this colony. And I don't see any larvae or eggs in that, which I wouldn't suspect as much, but I'm going to go ahead and shake these bees down. All right. And you want to clean this up. So just set it aside somewhere. I typically set it here on the bricks. And this can be processed later for wax. That's the nice part. So do yourself a favor and save your brace comb. It's not the prettiest wax. It's not the cleanest wax. But I've had several candle makers reach out to me recently via email asking if I have beeswax for sale. So all of this counts. It is beeswax, and it will burn for candle making. Your cleanest beeswax is going to come from cappings from your honey extraction. So we'll go over that later. That's another video. Okay, so I've got the Vivaldi board off here. And let's see what we got with this hive. Let's see the comb here. I'm going to go ahead and scrape that off. So most people know we smoke the bees to disguise the alarm pheromone, obviously, and to make sure that the bees are focused on abandoning ship, because that's what they think is happening right now. They think their hive is on fire. So they're focused on gorging themselves with the available honey that they have inside the colony. And they're less focused on me as the beekeeper, who is the intruder, which is why they're not trying to actively sting me. But we smoke to move bees. If a bee or bees are somewhere that I don't want them, I can smoke them, and that moves them away from where I want them to be. Okay, so looking down in this colony, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seams of bees. So not a huge colony by any stretch of imagination. But I'm going to guess, and that doesn't have any wax on it. I thought I waxed most of these, but apparently not. So they're starting to draw a little bit of comb there. I'm going to guess that there's quite a bit of brood right here, but I'm not seeing a lot of food yet, and that's concerning. So let's take a look at this first frame here. So I see fresh nectar, which is good. We've got nectar right here, all through here. Capped honey right here. I see quite a few bees with pollen baskets. I'm looking for any sort of signs of disease. I'm looking at the wings of the bees. I don't see any deformed wing virus or any K-wings. This is the type of stuff you want to look for when you're doing an inspection. So a little bit of food on that frame. Let's take a look at the next one here. That's light. This is all bee bread. I wouldn't suspect that we'd find our queen on here because this is mostly food. Oh, there is our queen. So here she is. Let me show you. She is a red dot queen, as I said. Okay, every time I do this, I lose track of her. There she is, right there. See her? Good looking queen. Nice red dot. And I'm looking in the cells here. I see larvae. Hopefully the sun is showing the larva down in there. Nice C shape. Pearly white. That's what you want to see. Okay. But a lot of brood here. Open brood. Okay, so let's put her back here. But I'm telling you, I think this colony is dangerously low on food. And if that's the case, I am going to put some sugar syrup on them. Okay, wow. What a nice frame. Look at this brood frame here. Look at that. That's beautiful. So really nice laying pattern. Check out the other side. So it looks like we had some emerging brood here. But look at that. Really nice pattern there. Let me take a closer look. I just want to make sure I don't see any issues. I've got the sun over my shoulder here so I can look real close. Nope, eggs, C-shaped, pearly white larva, bee bread, a lot of pollen. Now this looks really good. The only concern I see so far is not enough food. Not even close to enough food. Which tells me, yeah, see, this is probably more brood. Yep, another good frame of brood. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. Got a little bit of nectar in. No, it's not in. It's around the brood pattern there. Same here. We've got, watch out, girls. This looks like it's being backfilled. Let me see if there's eggs in there. Yep, single eggs in here. So again, I think this is probably recently emerged brood here. I wouldn't be concerned with this brood pattern. It's all throughout here, and then you've got food here. You've got this line of bee bread right here, and you've got honey on the outside, which is what you want to see. Honestly, I could be done with this colony right now, but I'm going to look at this last frame because what I know from this colony right now is, number one, they're queen right. Number two, she's great laying pattern, which I would suspect with a queen that's less than a year old. And number three, they desperately need food. So they are short. And there's, let's see, more brood. Yeah, this, and more brood. Quite frankly, this colony is on the verge of starving. That hive alive was empty. There's little to no food. There's a little nectar there. So that's good. But bottom line, this colony would starve without intervention. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to feed some sugar syrup. Because, inevitably, we're going to have several more days here where these bees are going to be trapped inside, and they would blow through that in no time flat, especially with all the brood that's getting ready to emerge. So with that said, I am going to, let me see here. I don't think I'm going to put any more fondant on. I think I'm going to switch to 1-to-1 sugar syrup to promote brooding. And I'm going to put some of the Hive Alive liquid feed inside that. And so I'm going to go ahead and close this hive up without the Vivaldi board. Let me get the rest of these bees off here. There we go. And I'm going to seal them up. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put probably an empty super. And I'm going to put those, what do you call those? Those rapid feeders that I have. I've posted links to them before. They're actually promoted on Amazon as hummingbird feeders, which makes zero sense to me. But I'm going to put one of those on here. I'm going to mix up some 1-to-1 sugar syrup. And I'm going to put Hive Alive in it. And I'm going to come back tomorrow. And I'm going to put syrup on this colony because this colony very easily could starve this month, or definitely would starve in April if the flow doesn't start anytime, which, there is some nectar coming in, but in my opinion, not nearly enough. So this colony is not ready to super by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to go ahead and put the inner cover up on this colony, seal them up, and I'm going to get them some food tomorrow, because this is why you have to do these early spring inspections, because you just don't know. The other 2 colonies that I got in on my previous video were absolutely stuffed with food. And so this colony maybe isn't as, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now, where they don't consume as much food. They're whatever. They eat more food than they should. Whereas those other colonies seem to hardly touch anything all winter long. So, all right, let's move on to the next one.